Shalom Aleichem, Purim Sameach. This is Rabbi Kovacs, and Mishnah Yomi is holding in chapter 1 of Eduyot, Mishnayot 4 and 5. Vilama, and why anyway? Mazkirin et divrei Shammai v'Hillel. We mentioned in the Mishnah the opinions of Shammai, the opinions of Hillel, levatlon. And then we say, but there's a third opinion that overrules both the great sages of Shammai and Hillel. So we're asking, why doesn't the Mishnah we had yesterday simply cite the halacha lemaisa opinion, the compromise opinion? At least in the case of challah, it looks like a compromise because it was halfway between Shammai and Hillel. So why? Shelo yehei adam omed al devarav. A person should not stand on his words when they tell him, your words were incorrect, that your teachers changed their mind, or there's halachic reasons to rule otherwise. You shouldn't be stubborn about it. Shaharei avot ha'olam, that these fathers of the world, this Hillel and Shammai are amazing figures in Jewish history and in Torah history, and what they did for Am Yisrael and they did for the Torah is just unmatched. They were like the fathers of all of us. Lo amdul divrehim, they didn't stand stubbornly on their opinions once they had testimony that there was a valid Masorah otherwise. Now, Mishnah Hey, V'lama miskirin divrei yachid ben arubim. Why do we mention the words of an individual when one rabbi has an opinion, when there's also a majority opinion? We know hoil ve'ein halacha elik divim rubin. The halacha lemaisa is going to follow the majority opinion. Why do we even mention the individual opinions? Why? She'im yireh beit din divrei yachid. If there's a court that sees the logic of the individual's opinion, v'yismoch alav, and they might rely on one opinion mentioned in the Mishnah. We're not talking about just a random opinion of someone. We're talking about someone mentioned in a Mishnah. If a beit din, a court, sees reasons to apply that individual opinion in this particular circumstance, this particular psak din halacha lemaisa, they would be allowed to do that. And then afterwards, she'ein beit din yachol levotel divrei beit din chavero. A later court can't override this ruling, even though it relied on an individual opinion in the Mishnah instead of the majority opinion. Unless the second court is greater than the earlier court, b'chochma, in wisdom, meaning the wisdom of its leader, of the Av Beis Din, b'minyan, and also in the number of sages there. If it's a wiser court, but not a bigger court in numbers, but minyan had more numbers, of Allah didn't have greater wisdom, Eino yachol levatel devarav minyan has to have both qualifications to overrule the earlier court's decision, even though the earlier court's decision, again, was based on an individual opinion instead of the majority opinion. In modern times, we've seen tshuvot, we've seen responsa from Rav Moshe Feinstein and Ovadia Yosef, where they would gather individual opinions of, Rishonim and Achronim that we don't necessarily paskin like usually, but combine them as a sniff, or a smach, a support for a halachic ruling, for a leniency. If you have a lot of individual opinions that would apply in a certain circumstance, then the judge, the dayan, might see a reason to rely on them. Purim Sameach and sei gesund.